Well, joined now by Nabila Ramdani, a Middle East analyst, and she joins us now in the studio. And welcome to you. Always good to talk to you. Thanks very much for coming in. What do you think is going to happen now that these monitors are going to leave Syria? What happens next?
Well, clearly the move from the Gulf state observers to leave the Arab League mission will step up the pressure enormously on the Al-Assad regime, especially as they are now calling the UN Security Council for action. And remember, this was the council which legitimized the use of extreme force against the Gaddafi regime and which ultimately led to the end of Gaddafi. So the UN Security Council are the last people that Al-Assad will want to be hearing from at this point in time.
And also the other people that have been key supporters of Syria are Russia, and they're indicating as well that, you know, maybe time is running out for Al-Assad.
Well, we're hearing an interesting double speak coming out of Russia. On the one hand, a Kremlin envoy has made it clear that Russia is becoming impatient by the fact that Syria has ignored the efforts to promote a peaceful solution in Syria. But we're also hearing, according to Russian sources as well, that Russia has indeed sold ammunitions to the Syrian regime, including a very lucrative $550 million deal for the sale of fighter jets.
Nabila, I'm sure I think the last time I spoke to you was over the whole issue of Libya. I mean, it's very tempting, isn't it, to just think, well, what happened in Libya is now unfolding in Syria, maybe at slightly slower motion. Is that a fair comparison?
Well, it's even worse than that, because remember, a military intervention in Libya took place because of a feared onslaught on political dissidents in Benghazi. Now we're witnessing an actual massacre taking place in Syria, not only on an armed insurgency, but from the very beginning on innocent civilians, men, women and indeed children. And there are, endless stories about innocent people having been tortured by the regime, including children.
But this has been going on for nearly a year now, and there may be sanctions, but there seems to be no appetite for any kind of military intervention, and that just seems absolutely off the cards.
Very much so. It has to be noted that yesterday a meeting of EU foreign ministers have stepped up to a certain extent the pressure on the Syrian regime as well by adding 22 people and 8 institutions for the support of the Syrian regime to the list of those who are subject to an asset freeze and indeed a ban on entering the EU. But that's the closest we got to a telling off, effectively.
OK, Nabila Ramdani, thank you very much indeed for being with us. Thank you.